they've more or less proven that there's a huge correlation between flow in longevity. But have they structured any studies around that you know of, like the relationship between
so
flowing?
interestingly, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi passed away a couple of years ago during COVID.
Yeah.
His last study just came out. It was done with his longtime collaborator Gene Nakamura and another gentleman whose name I'm forgetting, but it was on flow proneness over time. And Csikszentmihalyi wanted to know, it's what they call the continuity hypothesis. Do we stay as hungry for flow in our later years? Flow proneness stays the same in our later years. The only time it starts to fall off, if we don't train up our physical abilities, right? They're all use it or lose it skills. And we would, our physical stuff will fall off a cliff. So, the decline starts in our 20s and 30s. By our 50s, it accelerates. We can stave it off with proper training. But if you don't, when it falls off, when our bodies start to fall apart, we can't access flow the way we normally want to. That's the only change that happens.
Is the Flow Research Collective, are you involved in any research currently?
We have a fairly sizable research department.
Oh, cool.
We do studies with, folks at Stanford, folks at UCLA, USC, Imperial College London, UC, SF, a bunch of universities in Florida, a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, we have a lot of ongoing studies. We've got flow and pain studies that we're working on. We're working on flow and intuition studies. We're looking at flow and caffeine studies. At the heart of my work in our country and late in life skill acquisitions was a modified idea. So the challenge skills balance. Flow states have triggers, right? We talked about that, I think, the last time we were together. Preconditions that lead to more flow. And if you want more flow in your life, the triggers are your toolkit. And one of the most famous is the challenge skills balance. The idea is that flow follows focus. It can only show up when all our attention is the right here, right now. The triggers do that. They drive attention in the present moment. And the challenge skills balance says we pay the most attention to the task at hand when the challenge of the task slightly exceeds our skill set. You want to stretch, but not snap. Now, metaphorically, not scientifically, metaphorically, that's about a 5% gradient difference. We find the most flow, as a general rule, when the challenge of the task is about 5% greater than our skill set. One of the things that we realized at the collective was that because of allostatic load, which is literally the impact of trauma and stress over time on our physiology and our psychology, that we think that challenge skill spot has shrunken in older adults, and people don't realize it. They still feel like it's where it is, but it's actually a lot smaller. And so one of the things that we did is in trying to onboard new physical skills late in life, we had people go very, very slowly. One inch at a time was the motto. And it was because of this shrunken challenge skill spot. And we figured just by honoring that and saying, hey, this is shrunk down, we're going to get more people into flow. Flow massively amplifies learning, right? 250% to 500% above baseline, depending on whose numbers you're going by. So we knew that if we could get people into flow, the state itself will take care of the learning. So we wanted people to move really, really slowly. This worked incredibly well. You can measure allostatic load using a whole bunch. Heart rate variability will get there. A bunch of other stuff will get there. In our early research, we were still proving out the learning theory and things like that. We weren't measuring a lot of physiological data, but we are now going back and redoing those early studies and measuring physiological data so we can put more accurate numbers on that stuff. So that's one of the things we're doing in the peak performance aging category.